Reflections of a Simple American. Brought to you by Spirituality. Episode 1, Part 8, George Washington's Farewell Address. Greetings, citizen, and welcome back. In this episode of Reflections of a Simple American, I look forward to your company in listening to Washington conclude his address as he speaks on the subjects of reflection, accountability, and gives his farewell. I invite you to ponder his words on these subjects as we reflect together on the message of his farewell address. Chapter 8. Reflection, Accountability, and Farewell. In offering to you, my countrymen, these counsels of an old and affectionate friend, I dare not hope they will make the strong and lasting impression I could wish, that they will control the usual current of the passions, or prevent our nation from running the course, which has hitherto marked the destiny of nations. But, if I may even flatter myself, that they may be productive of some partial benefit, some occasional good, that they may now and then recur to moderate the fury of party spirit, to warn against the mischiefs of foreign intrigue, to guard against the impostures of pretended patriotism. This hope will be a full recompense for the solicitude for your welfare by which they have been dictated. How far in the discharge of my official duties I have been guided by the principles which have been delineated, the public records and other evidences of my conduct must witness to you and to the world. To myself, the assurance of my own conscience is that I have at least believed myself to be guided by them. In relation to the still subsisting war in Europe, my proclamation of the 22nd of April, 1793, is the index to my plan. Sanctioned by your approving voice, and by that of your representatives in both houses of Congress, the spirit of that measure has continually governed me, uninfluenced by any attempts to deter or divert me from it. After deliberate examination, with the aid of the best lights I could obtain, I was well satisfied that our country, under all the circumstances of the case, had a right to take, and was bound in duty and interest to take, a neutral position. Having taken it, I determined, as far as should depend upon me, to maintain it with moderation, perseverance, and firmness. The considerations which respect the right to hold this conduct, it is not necessary on this occasion to detail. I will only observe that according to my understanding of the matter, that right, so far from being denied by any of the belligerent powers, has been virtually admitted by all. The duty of holding a neutral conduct may be inferred, without anything more, from the obligation which justice and humanity impose on every nation, in cases in which it is free to act, to maintain inviolate the relations of peace and amity towards other nations. The inducements of interest for observing that conduct will best be referred to your own reflections and experience. With me, a predominant motive has been to endeavor to gain time to our country to settle and mature its yet recent institutions, and to progress without interruption to that degree of strength and consistency which is necessary to give it, humanly speaking, the command of its own fortunes. Though, in reviewing the incidents of my administration, I am unconscious of intentional error, I am nevertheless too sensible of my defects not to think it probable that I may have committed many errors. Whatever they may be, I fervently beseech the Almighty to avert or mitigate the evils to which they may tend. I shall also carry with me the hope that my country will never cease to view them with indulgence, and that, after 45 years of my life dedicated to its service with an upright zeal, the faults of incompetent abilities will be consigned to oblivion, as myself must soon be to the mansions of rest. Relying on its kindness in this, as in other things, and actuated by that fervent love towards it, which is so natural to a man who views it in the native soil of himself and his progenitors for several generations. I anticipate with pleasing expectation that retreat in which I promise myself to realize, without alloy, the sweet enjoyment of partaking, in the midst of my fellow citizens, the benign influence of good laws under a free government, the ever-favorite object of my heart, and the happy reward, as I trust, of our mutual cares, labors, and dangers. George Washington, United States, September 17th, 1796. Interpretation and reflection.
In this next paragraph, Washington begins by speaking of his counsel and the manner in which he is offering it, as an old and affectionate friend. He speaks about how he doesn't think they'll make as strong an impression or guide the nation as much as he would hope they would, but he does hold a hope that they could provide some benefit and occasionally do some good. He lists examples of how he hopes his words can lead to good influence, such as moderation of party spirit, warn against mischiefs of foreign intrigue, and guard against pretended patriotism. He finishes the paragraph by speaking about how, if his words help the citizens, it'll be sufficient reward for him because he cares about our well-being. In this next paragraph, Washington begins by speaking of how far his principles have guided his official duties. He then goes on to speak about public records bearing witness of his actions. He assures himself that his conscience led him to act in a way that he believed that he was following this guidance. In this next paragraph, Washington speaks about a proclamation he had previously made in response to a war in Europe between Britain and France. His purpose in referencing this, years later, was to cite an example of how he applied his own principles in governance regarding impartiality and neutrality, as well as adhering to them as he was, quote, uninfluenced by any attempts to deter or divert me from it, end quote. In this next paragraph, Washington explains a bit more regarding his decision-making process in regards to the proclamation from the last paragraph. He speaks on how he deliberately examined the issue very carefully, and only after that did he determine that the country had the right to choose a neutral position which not only served in a dutiful sense, but also in its best interest. After taking this course of action, Washington stood firm by the decision with perseverance and moderation. In this next paragraph, Washington speaks about how it isn't necessary to defend the right of the United States taking a neutral stance. He then mentions that he has observed that this right to take a neutral stance has since been admitted by others. In the next paragraph, Washington speaks more of neutrality, saying that the freedom to choose this course doesn't need a defense, that the simple ideas of justice and humanity are enough support to maintain peace towards other nations. In this next paragraph, Washington speaks on the ideas from the last paragraph and almost gives an invitation of sorts to the listener-reader, that their own experience and reflection will lead them to observe the truths from it. He then continues on, citing specific examples of his own motivations, that he wanted to pursue neutrality to give the institutions and establishments within the United States time to mature and provide the country as a whole time to stabilize. This, he believed, would give its best chance to, quote, command its own fortunes, end quote, in the time ahead. In this next paragraph, Washington thinks back to his time serving as president, and while he doesn't recall any instances when he knowingly made a mistake, his own self-awareness leads him to admit that during his service, he made some errors without realizing it. he makes a humble request to God that whatever errors he did commit, any negative repercussions that occurred as a result of them may be lessened or averted. He also speaks of his own hope that our country will see his stewardship was undertaken with dedication and that will outweigh any mistakes he might have made long after he has passed on. In this next paragraph, Washington looks forward to his retirement from service. He reflects on his love of the land and looks forward to enjoying the country that he helped establish as a normal citizen with all its freedoms and benign laws. I like how he even speaks of this as being a, quote, mutual, end quote, reward, being a benefit that all worked towards and therefore enjoyed.
Thank you, citizen, for stopping by. I'm grateful for the time that we've spent together these past few months, studying Washington's words together. If you haven't seen episodes 1 through 7 yet, you can find them on the Spirituality YouTube channel. Until we meet again, may peace and good fortune be with you.